Today, we're gonna travel back in time to the year 2011. I was 12, I had just discovered Hatsune Miku, and I was deep into my obsession with Naruto. Imagine 11-year-old Hani sitting at the family computer, looking up some screenshots of Sakura, opening it up in paint, and just recoloring the shit out of it. This is basically a lot of my art at one point. That aside, let me introduce you to my baby, Fumi. Oh boy, look at these colors. Beautiful saturation. So for this redesign, I am focusing more on Shippuden Fumi rather than Kid Fumi, but I am doing a design for her younger self as well, just for fun. So I feel like to really appreciate this redesign, I'm gonna have to tell you a little bit of her backstory first. So bear with me. I promise it's relevant to the design. This is 12-year-old Hani's idea of like a cool character. So Fumi was a half vampire, half witch character. If you don't watch Naruto, neither of those things exist in the universe, okay? Just putting that out there. Honestly, I don't remember much about this story, but I remember her having hella mommy issues. I remember the mom being the vampire and the dad was the witch. And the dad was not in the picture much at all. I don't know, maybe he died. But the mom was very evil and abusive, naturally, you know, for an edgy character that a 12-year-old made. Whatever it was, all I know is that the mom is evil and then she's like power hungry or something, and then she was about to die, but she didn't want to die, so she sealed her spirit inside of Fumi. And then one day when Fumi grows up into Shippuden age, in my mind, the seal will then release, and then her mom's spirit will take over her body. That's her mom's way of continuing life, I guess. I don't know if she has done this before, if she's like actually a great grandma and she's been passing down her spirit into every child. I don't know. That's kind of a cool concept, not gonna lie. And as you can tell, none of this is affected by the fact that her mom is a vampire. Aren't vampires supposed to be like immortal or something? I don't know. Don't ask me. Ask 12-year-old Hani. Oh, and in terms of powers, I didn't really give her any specific kinds of jutsus or anything like that, but I thought it would be fun to make her powers something blood related, cause that's like loosely a vampire thing, you know? It makes sense, right? So the idea was Fumi would bite on her thumb like they do in Naruto, or like slice her hand with a kunai or something, and from that, a weapon will materialize out of the blood from her hands. If you're thinking, hey, wait a minute, this sounds familiar, yeah, I basically stole the concept from Kyokai no Kanata. I think that's a really cool idea. I don't think there's anyone in Naruto who has that type of power yet, so I think that would be a good addition to the group. Okay, now that you've gotten the gist of her backstory, we can now start talking about the design choices that I made. So for Shippuden Fumi, I wanted her to look a little bit more elegant rather than having, t-shirt and jeans like in the previous one. And I wanted her colors to be dark and kind of vampiric leaning. And I did lean more towards the vampire kind of aesthetic rather than the witch part, because the witch is the dad and the dad was not in the picture anyway, so And so whenever I looked up vampire designs, I would always notice these like pointy collar thingies. So since they're so heavily associated with the vampire type vibe, I wanted to incorporate that somehow into the design. So you can see me designing this one outfit here that I actually really liked, but it kind of looked a little bit too kid-ish, so I decided to give that to the pre-Shippuden Fumi. It's a little bit like Ino's design because of the bandages and everything, but I still really liked it. So you can see that I've made the ends of her hair curl upwards a little bit, and that's because I wanted her silhouette to stand out a little bit more and be more interesting, and also because I thought about giving her a cape at first, but I decided against it. So her like swoopy bits kind of allude to the idea of a cape, at least in my mind. I also wanted her to be a little bit more feminine than the way I drew her before. So I decided to give her a long skirt, which I thought kind of fit the vibe a little bit, you know? But of course, she has to do ninja things and run and whatever, hence the big gap where her legs are. Just a fun fact about me as a kid, I was very not like other girls, in that I thought skirts were lame, pink was too girly, all of those are too lame for someone as cool and different as me. So all my characters, they basically wore the same thing, which was shirts and pants. But I am a big girl now and I like skirts, and Fumi will have a long skirt and she will be badass with it, okay? Take that, internalized misogyny. I like the idea of her having a lot of bandages around her just because of her aforementioned powers, because she would have a ton of cuts all around her body just to, you know, produce the blood for her powers. And so she would wrap them up, not only to kind of help the wounds close, but also kind of hide them. Let me talk a little bit about the old design. I specifically remember thinking that everyone in Naruto has such like elaborate outfits, and I'm like, where is the t-shirt and jeans representation here? Come on, guys. Normal people don't wear ninja clothes. I want representation for the normies, okay? So I drew all my characters that I had with a t-shirt and pants and not much else. I don't know if that was genuinely how I felt, or that was just me at the time trying to justify not knowing how to design clothes. So as I start coloring here, you can see I've darkened the red color of her shirt from the original design. I love that color paired with her teal hair, which has also been muted down into this nice, a little bit desaturated teal color. It kind of matches my setup right now, actually. I wanted to keep the same color scheme for her pre-Shippuden outfit as well, since a lot of characters do that also. Now I'm doing everybody's favorite trick when drawing a character's back, duplicating the front view, flipping it, and then erasing all the details and then drawing the back side over that. That's very useful, not very accurate, but you know, it works. So now we're gonna start lining. So I wanted to keep the style of the drawing as close as possible to the Naruto anime, specifically during Shippuden era, because if I were to do this in my regular style, I would not be using such a tiny brush for line art, because I don't really like doing that, honestly, and I don't like that kind of look in my illustrations. But for character design, it looks cleaner, and also, you know, it matches the Naruto style, so I went with that. Maybe as we watch the line art part here, I can talk a little bit more about her and her friends. You might have seen in some of the pictures that I've put up that Fumi has a purple-haired friend with her all the time. And that is Fumi's friend, Akara. Of course, she's the bubbly, happy-go-lucky one, and Fumi's the emo, brooding one. You know, totally not based off of Naruto and Sasuke. No. These are my original characters, okay? Do not steal. Anyway, Akara was definitely the one that I related to more, as I was quite a happy-go-lucky child. But I definitely drew Fumi more because I thought she was so cool, and a lot more interesting, honestly. I was like, okay, Akara, I relate to her, but she's kind of like, whatever. I don't even have a backstory for her. For Fumi, though, she's like this cool, edgy character that I can live vicariously through, I guess. Also, fun fact, I made a whole trailer of a movie that will never exist about Fumi and her family drama, I suppose. And her being possessed by her mom and fighting Akara and all these other friends of hers. I'll put that at the end of the video, so if you wanna see that cringe fest, maybe, yeah, stick around till the end, and maybe I'll put a little bit of it on there. I will die of embarrassment watching that. So, for the coloring part, I decided to keep it really simple just because it is supposed to be a reference sheet, so I didn't want to go too crazy with all the shading and highlighting and whatever. So I decided to only include a little bit of cell shading in the front view of her Shippuden design, and the rest I just left as flat colors. In my experience, reference sheets, especially for animation, would not have a lot of fancy shading or anything like that. It's more to communicate the designs and colors rather than to show your artistic prowess, I guess. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the portraits, just to show a bit of her personality or what she would look like in certain situations. I actually had a lot of trouble with the facial expressions. I gotta say, that's something that I gotta work on a lot more, because I'm used to drawing like portraits, other stuff like that. Actual faces that are feeling strong emotions are not my strong suit. So doing this was a really good exercise actually, and made me realize that I really need to work on that more, because these were hard to do for me, especially the last one where she's crying. You can clearly tell I, drew and erased and over and over again until finally I got something that was decent. Oh, also, I don't think I've mentioned this ever, but whenever her mom possesses her body, these red curse mark-ish marks will start appearing on her body from where the mom is sealed, which is at the back of the neck. And when that happens, her eyes go red, and it's basically a copy of the curse mark thing, but it's original because it's red, okay? Okay, so I've been calling Fumi my OC this whole time, but in the part of the internet I was on, they were called Naruto RPCs. What is an RPC? It stands for role-playing character, but I basically used it interchangeably with OC. So yeah, I'm just referring to her as OC. So before I show you the final reveal of what the whole thing looks like, I believe I owe you some cringe for making it to the end of the video. So roll the movie trailer that I made for my character when I was 12. So she freaking dies in the end? I did not remember that. Oh my god. Man, that editing was really something, huh? Anyway, cringe aside, I think it's time for the final reveal. Here's Fumi before, and here's Fumi after. I think 12-year-old Honey would be proud of this. So I'm gonna go and try to forget about that video's existence now. And thank you for watching. Like if you like the video, and subscribe if you like this kind of thing. And I'll see you when I see you. Okay, bye.